Hey, can you hear me okay? Oh, you hopped out and then you hopped. Oh. Doo -doo. Hello. Hey. Mute site.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, there you go. Let me see, how do I turn on video? Ah, there you go. Dude, this is like the first interview I'm actually doing with my video on. I haven't done this since 2015.
Wow.
Yeah. The
That's
last
amazing.
yeah, the last time I did an interview like this was in 2015, and that was for a launch. So after that, I never did anything like this. So should be fun. I'm excited.
Well, I feel super special then.
Yeah, sure. Are we recording, by the way?
Yes, we are recording right now.
All
Let me
right.
see
Well,
if I can speaker view. Yeah, that looks good. Speaker view. All right, cool. Ace, I'm very excited you said yes since 2015. So that's crazy. Wait, can I ask you what inspired you to say yes? Because you usually don't do this. What inspired you for that?
well, number one is the timing. The timing was perfect because I'm about to launch a YouTube channel, so I'm doing videos now. And when you asked me, like the exact same day, I remember shooting a video, and then I'm like, I already shot that video, so might as well do the interview too. It was the perfect timing. And well, obviously, like I like the software too, so I want to be able to add a lot of value to the community. It's just that I'm more of the behind the laptop kind of guy, just doing things, writing posts, teaching people stuff. I don't really do videos much, guys. I mean, you guys, I mean, you don't see me a lot on videos or anything like that. This one we were supposed to do it live, I think, and I messaged her and I'm like, hey, like I can't do it live. I'm too introverted. Like I have ADD. I'll go off on random topics. Might as well get it recorded so it's easier for me to like talk and give you guys a lot of value without having to censor myself all the time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So yeah, this is a pre-recording. It's not a live at all. But I will upload it to the group, and they will still get a lot of value from this
Oh,
interview.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so.
All right, cool. Welcome to my group, Ace, and I have been hearing a lot of chatter about you, and just the people who are in my community that came out of my course itself, like Zaki Ahmed. He told me that the reason why he got success was because of you. So I'm hearing, and also Russ Ward is part of my community. He's sending a lot of people my way as well. And I'm like, who's this Russ Ward person, the lead king or the king of leads? And then you made a post and you include Russ Ward and Zeki. And I was like, okay, I need to really like talk to Ace and go to the source of all these people's success. So I have my questions right here. That's why I'm gonna look this way. So Ace, I want my group to get to know who you are. For those of them who don't know who you are, and tell me about yourself, or who or what got you into helping others be able to, from your profile and from the message that you provide. It's like you want to help others
Right.
earn income online.
Yeah. So, I mean, well, basically, I was a major CPA marketer back in the day. So, if you guys have been in the industry for a while, Russ probably remembers this. I used to be a big time affiliate marketer, a big time CPA marketer. So, we used to run a lot of stuff on the internet. But again, guys, I told you I'm like more of the behind the laptop kind of guy. We do a lot of stuff. So, the CPA business kind of shook down and went to like it just got terrible. I think in 2017, and the whole thing crashed because Facebook started banning every account that was doing any CPA stuff. Now, previously, you had something called as a cloaker. For some of you guys who've been in the industry for a while, and you could use the cloaker to like hide and mask the original landing page. It's some pretty black hat stuff, but like since 2017, you couldn't do any of that anymore, right? Which is when I got out, I started a venture, which was a terrible failure, lost a bunch of money on that one. And then I went to, well, I started doing e-commerce because a client of mine, a guy that, I was with, I taught him CPA stuff, right? And then he ended up making some money with CPA, but then he ended up going his own way. And he built this yoga store selling yoga mats and yoga shirts and stuff. And he was doing a killing with it, like I think 60 grand a month or something like that. And then he was like, okay, well, you should come with us too. Like the whole e-commerce boom is great. And then I got started with this guy. Next thing you know, we're selling motorcycle rings, a bunch of drop shipping products because it was way easier like in 2017 and stuff. The funny thing is, I actually got started in the industry with e-commerce. I
Yeah.
just deviated from that and went into CPA. I got started selling T-shirts and stuff. And I think the first like original break that I had was also by selling shirts. Uh, and probably back in 2014, we were selling name T-shirts, which used to be a big deal back in the day. So if your name is, let's say, Ace, right? You're gonna be advertised a shirt that says my name Ace. All aces are cool or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And we would use this scraper called Social Lead Freak, and we would get every person who's named Ace or who's named David or James or whatever, and we would run these name shirts specifically to these people. And Facebook banned that, and then they banned a bunch of accounts. And that, like, now we do a lot of white hat stuff with like e-com stuff, e-com marketing and stuff. Anyway, so we were doing e-commerce, and then one thing that I started doing, again, guys, this is very important for you to like understand, especially when it comes to organic reach. This is kind of how I have built the whole e-com region that I built. Is I was in this group called Shopify Newbies. Okay, I'm not a member of the group anymore. That's like I had some conflict with the new admin that they have, but that's a different story. So I was in the group, right? And I was helping all of these people. Every one of these, they had questions and I would answer their questions. Soon, like a friend of mine called Lyndon Scott used to be the admin of the group. And I knew like all four of these guys, four of the admins, that we were all good friends, right? And I remember going to Lyndon and I'm like, dude, like all these guys, they keep posting the review my store deal here. Do you mind if I do like video reviews for these people, helping them out for free? And I wasn't even selling anything. Like I had no course, nothing.
Mhm.
And I got on and like what I would do is I would do these review series where I would take all of these videos and I'd like all of these stores and I'd be like, okay, well guys, this is what you're doing wrong. This is what you're doing right. Do this, change this to your store, change this on your store, whatever. And like slowly we started building up this sort of like a following in the group. And that is when I launched my own Facebook group, the first original e-commerce one. And then I brought a bunch of people into the group. And then I was like, okay, well, might as well sell these people something because they're keep sell them stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, guys, look, I'm going to start a $2,500 mastermind, and I'm going to show you guys the whole through 8 weeks. I'm going to show you how to build an e-commerce business. And I think we had like 8 or 10 clients sign up through the group. And that is all we did, like no paid ads, no funnels, nothing, literally. I went and posted a shit on a value in a group, created my own group, and then everyone joined my own group, and then they started buying stuff, right? But we like after that there were really no more info promotions because I was at a point where I really didn't want to do much of it, so I was just busy helping people out. I think in November was when I really started to push harder because I'm like, okay, well, then I got into the ClickFunnels community, and I just started helping people out there, and then all of a sudden I had a following there, and everyone was like, oh, Ace Reddy's content is the shit, like everyone was like, okay, well, go watch this guy's stuff. And I posted more and more and more content. I built up a following there, and I was pitching hard on my timeline. So that's another thing that we got to talk about. Now, why would I want to share this information? The
Yeah.
reason I actually wanted to share like how to sell social media stuff and like things like that is because I see two big and major mistakes happening. Well, three actually. Number one is a guy has a huge following, right? So this is like a following of like hundreds of people. Like he's got 300 likes on his posts or whatever, but he's too scared to pitch. right? And I remember this quote that I read in a book. I don't remember exactly what book it was. And the quote goes that if you have a huge, like if you have a lot of power and you don't use it, the power will be taken away from you, you know?
Oh,
So like if you have a following and you don't sell stuff to them, people are going to treat you as a friend. Like when you do sell stuff to them, like they will not buy anything, even though you have 300 likes or 400 likes or
you've
600
been
likes.
friend zoned.
Exactly, bingo, right? You got all these, yeah. So you get friend zone, and then the person doesn't buy anything from you. Um, that's person number one. Person number two, the other person is constantly spamming the Facebook timeline. He's just constantly spamming. He's like, oh, free $500. Go here and click on the link, fill out the survey. I'll send you $600. Like it's a scam, you know. But the amount of spam is so incredible, especially with some of the ClickFunnels affiliates. I feel is everyone's out there, right? Trying to be an affiliate, and they're like, oh, buy my ClickFunnels. Oh, use my link to buy it. Oh, join OFA through my link. You know, like I'm giving away 3 different bonuses, and it's just stupid. You know, like they have zero following. They got 3 likes on a post, and they're offering a bonus, and it's just weird. And a lot of times, the even worse part is that they actually have the bonus ready. Like they shot the content, and then they're like trying to offer it to people. And that's the second major person that I see making a lot of mistakes. And then the third person is a person who neither has the following nor pitches, you know, and he's just in the groups, you know, chatting to people, but like there's no real action happening. He doesn't do any pitch posts, he's not building up his following, there's really nothing going on, you know.
Yeah.
And this is the person that is not even advertising on Facebook because he doesn't see the opportunity. So this is one of the reasons, and like me looking at these people constantly is what actually made me try to like go out there and help these people, because it's just terrible, you know. Like one of the things that I teach on my webinars, which helped a lot of people, is to never make the product before you actually sell it. Like if you don't know, especially when you're getting started, your job is not to be making products and then selling them. Your job is to be making offers, and if people buy them, then you go in and make the product, you know. Because this is something that I've done too. I had this one small rain a few years ago where I decided to launch a product, and then we spent like 7 months, you know, getting the website done. I paid I think I paid like $1,000 for a logo or something. It was terrible. And the project was a failure. The project was a complete failure. um, and we got zero sales, right? And it was terrible because we were paying, I think, $1,000 on hosting fees. Um,
And
yeah, and I was like, dude, we're gonna scale, but there was no proof of concept, right? And I see a lot of people doing it, and I just wanted to save them the time and energy, and also like help them sell more stuff on Facebook. Well, lots of stuff, and that's one of the reasons why my webinar was 3 hours long with no pitch, because I wanted to cover through all of these concepts. Yeah, and then
3 hours
like
and no pitch. That is so awesome. I think
yeah,
that's
I mean
I
that's what we're getting results. You know, that's why everyone's getting results. So yeah.
yeah. Well, on the internet marketing world, I haven't been in the internet marketing world for a super long time, probably like around a year. But during that time, I've met and talked to a lot of people, and I do see those mistakes. But for me, I look at those mistakes. I'm like, oh, okay, I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't do this. Okay. But it's
Mhm.
like, it takes a different type of person to be like, okay, they're making all these mistakes. I have to help them. I have to get out there and like help them out. I think that's very admirable. It's amazing because a lot of people, you know, we just watch and we have our own offers and we provide our own offers, but we're not so out there just providing it. We provide a lot of value, but that to me is like you know, not charity, but almost like that, like philanthropy, you know. And I feel
Right.
like that's amazing. That's awesome.
Thank you.
So can you tell me like that aha moment that you have that made you go, okay, there are these 3 constant mistakes, and I'm going to make a webinar on it, and I'm going to show people the way. because a lot of people try to avoid webinars. They try, because it takes a lot of work. It's a lot of work to script it out and to show people. Was there like an aha moment for you, or like a lot of little tiny moments combined together?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest reason why I even shot the webinars is because there was these big misconceptions in the industry. So, for example, like everyone believed that you got to make a full course in order to sell it. The only thing that sells is a course. I came out there, I sold a webinar, and we did 6 figures in sales selling webinars, just webinars alone. You know, and then we had the mastermind upsell, and I was testing so much stuff. Like if you look at my Facebook, I tested like so many different posts, right? um, and all of these people, especially a lot of the people, would message me asking if it's working, like what am I doing, and whether it's working, and they would ask me more information. That was when I started to decide, when I started to help these people out with their social media. And I think a few months after that was when I was like, okay, dude, I better launch a course on this. And then I decided to launch a course because I'm like, okay, well, I'll do a webinar on it, not a course, but a webinar. I'll do a webinar on it, see how that works. So I messaged Russ. I'm like, dude, like, what are you selling? He's like, this real estate course. I'm about to launch this. Like, all right, well, get this webinar. It's gonna help you. He's like, well, how much? I'm like, I think it's 297 or something, or 197. So I'm like, it's 197, and the guy's like, sure, here, like, send me the link. He got the webinar. Next thing you know, I think 7 days later, he sends me a message. He's like, I made 3K with the information, and I'm like, that's legend, you know. Same happened with Zeki. I believe messaging him. No, he bought the other webinars of mine. So I sent him a message. I'm like, you got some launches coming up, right? He's like, yeah. Like, well, buy this webinar, and he bought it too. Um, yeah, I think the biggest aha moment for me has probably been the fact that I'm an aggressive closer, because I feel like if I didn't message Russ and if I didn't tell him, hey, buy this, he would have never bought it, you know, and he would have never bought it, and he would have never learned the strategies in there. You know what I mean? So I've always felt like this aggressive closer that's closing for a bigger purpose in mind, like for a big greater purpose. And when other people used to hate on me for doing that or for pitching too much, I was just like, okay, well, you guys could hate on me. The guys that are not, I want to help you guys out, because you guys are clearly more open to like learning new strategies and stuff. So, yeah.
Oh yeah. The way that I see people closing now, like that enrollment conversation, that point where they commit to doing something, like taking an action, I think that's life changing. I used to believe salespeople were so slimy until I started being a closer myself and being coached to close. And so I view all these conversations as very sacred, because it's a
Right.
step for them to completely change their life for that moment. So
Exactly.
yeah.
I mean, my whole deal is, if you have a good product and you could help people out, like, why are you not promoting it everywhere? you know and I feel like a lot of people that don't want to promote it everywhere, I feel like they have a lot of deep rooted issues, which is, by the way, yeah,
Sorry. I agree. The way you say it, they have a lot of deep rooted issues.
yeah, I mean, well, for example, like, I remember asking this client of mine for a testimonial, right? So the guy goes from $150 a day with e-commerce to making $400 a day after watching my webinar. I asked the dude for a testimonial. He's like, "Oh, my testimonial numbers are too short, like too small. Like, you got Brent Shepard making 200 grand a month with your webinars." No, back then he was doing about 60K a month. My testimonial is worthless. And I'm like, dude, like, no, like, there is someone out there that's probably trying to get to the $400. For him, your testimonial is the most relatable, you know.
Mhm.
And I feel like that happens a lot with coaches too, where, for example, a guy starts making $1,000 a day, right? And he's trying to downplay the amount of money that he's making because there's all these other guys making 100 grand. And that's another thing that really stops him from being aggressively helping people or like going out there and offering advice, because he feels like he's not an expert yet. So there's all of these deep rooted issues, right? So there's more of it where a person feels like if he promotes it too much, like there's the biggest deep rooted issue I've seen in this industry, something that I suffered with too, is that you feel like you have a great product, so now you don't have to promote it anymore. It's a form of mental laziness in a way, where, oh, I have a great product, like people will buy it themselves, they don't. you know and that's a sad reality, because people don't even know about your product until they buy it. So
Yeah. Even in my industry, I see like as teachers, as creators, what we're doing is we're dehypnotizing people from all the things they've been hypnotized into thinking throughout their whole life with their upbringing. We're just saying that's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie. But it takes much more than telling them, hey, this is a lie, for them to really believe it. And so it's like, it's an interesting journey to go on, because even me, where people are launching software, they're like, oh, that other person has the idea, so I shouldn't even do anything. And I'm like, there's like 20 other versions of that idea. That's not a unique idea. But the fact that they went and they got their own version, they can now sell their own version and they can be financially abundant or free. But a lot of people are thinking they need to have this unique idea to launch. And that's not that true. It's not I've seen.
yeah, and there's like, I think, on just the first webinar, there were like 35 of these deep rooted beliefs that I broke into. And I'm like, okay, like, this is a problem, this is a problem, this is a problem. Because Facebook's kind of like a traffic source, right? It's not like Facebook on itself has no actual value. It's a traffic source. If your offer sucks, your offer sucks.
Yeah.
Facebook can't save that. Your algorithm shifts are not going to save that. And yeah, I don't know why people had a lot of like, I would talk to people, especially before I came up with the rooted beliefs, and some of the excuses I would get were just ridiculous. Like, oh, um, I don't have like the best looking pictures to upload on Facebook. Who cares? My picture is like from 3 years or 4 years old. Like, I don't even have hair in the picture. Like, I'm still making money. Like, no one cares. Um, and yeah, so that's some of the basic. Well, I mean, there is one other major belief that I recently got into, and I've seen that a lot of people run by it, and that is the fact that their content has X hours of, they have X hours of content, and they have X hours of this, and they have all these workbooks and whatever, and everyone keeps stressing on it. Like, you talk to people, they're like, oh, I have 18 workbooks with it, I have 700 hours of content. And they feel like that the 700 hours of content actually serves a purpose. And my whole deal is, dude, like, the only thing that matters is you have client, you have the person, right? You have the person A on one part of the equation, and this is his promised land. So in order for him to get from here to here, like, whatever the heck he needs, that's what you're supposed to sell, not anything else. And if the workbooks are helping him, then sure, you could use it. But if the workbooks are just additional value, then it has no real actual value. So for a person, let's say in my business, right, in the e-commerce game, everyone had these Facebook ad courses, and everyone were like, oh, I'm going to show you guys exactly how to run all these ads or whatever. And I got in probably in November, and I did this webinar on Facebook ads, and it was like a 2-hour webinar. That's it. And I was like, guys, look, I'm not going to teach you any of the shit. I'm not going to show you how to set up your ads. What I am going to show you guys is like my exact ad framework. I'll show you guys exactly how to strategize the plan and put it to work. And I thought that system, and all of these guys are getting results. Like, literally one webinar with a 30-minute pitch in it. So that's like an hour and a half. And that's it. And then like the webinar alone brought in about, I think, 100 customers just through Facebook. And then I had another webinar on selling killer products and whatever. So I invented something called as the reverse pyramid. Well, I didn't invent it, but I kind of created it, like using my own information. And the reverse pyramid goes like, you have the market on the top, and then you have you. I wish I could do a slide share now, but I'd rather not. And you have, you have the, okay, so the way most people work, right, is that they have the product at the top, and they give the product the most importance, and then they have the sales firms. So these are the guys that keep going around in groups saying, oh, I need the best copywriter. I need a funnel designer. I need that. I need this. And then on the third level, they're like, okay, well, I need to brand myself somehow. And then the last level, the thing that they give the least importance to is the market. What does the market need? And nobody really goes in and looks at what the problems in the marketplace are. So I invented, like, I reversed the pyramid. And then I basically, on the webinar, I told people focus 80% of your efforts on the market. Like, start analyzing your market, start understanding your market, and start empathizing with them. Go to groups. One of my strategies was, well, it's something that I do. So go to groups and write a ton of value posts and see what of the value posts you're getting the most engagement on. You know, are you getting most of the engagement on like a post about Facebook ads? Are you getting most of the engagement on how to not get your Facebook ad account shut down? How are you getting the most engagement on how to find killer products? And based on the engagement, you now understand exactly what the market wants. So now you don't even need a sales funnel anymore. You know for a fact that the market has problems with Facebook ads. Now you can launch any product around Facebook ads, highlighting their exact problems. You'll make money. They'll buy your stuff. So let me give you an example. One of the ways that we did one of the ways I actually sold my Facebook ads webinar, by the way, I did it for free the week before. No one ever took any action with it. So I'm like, okay. Yeah, I'm like, I took the same webinar. I think I put in 7 more slides in it because I had to package the offer better. So I had to add some more content into it. To put 7 more slides into it, I sold it at $100. And then all of a sudden, like, there were people taking action on it because they paid for it. And like, we had Brent Shepard start making 50K. One guy started making 18K a day with the information. And like, we had all these testimonials. I think those 3 webinars alone had like 60 or 70 testimonials, probably more, because all these guys were taking action. They were making money. Anyway, so the way that came about is I remember taking a screenshot of my Shopify back office and I posted it in a group. And I'm like, here's the exact Facebook ad strategy we used to kill it with this. And that had a crazy engagement. I think we had like 200 likes or so. It was probably in the Shopify newbies group, which I'm not a member of anymore. They kind of kicked me out. No group ever kicks me out, but like for some reason they were like, okay, well, I posted a meme that the admin was not in agreement with. And then they were like, they played their own politics. But apart from that, so I did that post and it had crazy engagement. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'll launch a webinar on Facebook ads. And that's really how simple it was. And there were no funnels, no sales pages, nothing. I sold the webinar. 15 days later, I got on GoToWebinar. I shot the webinar live. And then a bunch of people ended up buying the upsell too, which is the mastermind. But that is how simple it was. And now in the community, you have so many people who don't even go and look at the market. They're like, oh, get us the best copywriter, get us the best sales funnel, get us the best product, get us the best this. But no one even understands the market. So that's another reason why. Oh, you got a client call?
No, it's my mom. Sorry, I texted her. I said I'll call her back. My mom calls at random hours. It was her birthday and I got her a massage chair. So I think she's just like, oh, thank you.
You're a good daughter. That's awesome. Dude, I have massive ADD. So like you get me started on a topic, I'll go into like the whole basis of.
No, I love it. I'm taking down all these notes. So you reverse, you're telling, basically what you're saying is a lot of these people there's a lot of myths and they believe all these myths. What you do is you come in and you tell them, hey, this is my strategy. This is how I do it. And you ask the market. You look for what the market wants versus creating a product and then eventually marketing it somehow. And I think for me, when I stumbled upon that was for me, it came out of being lazy. I didn't want to create all this content if people aren't going to buy it. So I launched my course a long time ago. with nothing in it. I had told people, I'm like, hey, there's nothing in this. It's just a Facebook group and it's blank. Pay, and then you come in and I will start making content. And people did. And Zeki was one of the first ones who like entered my community, actually. And it wasn't until recently that he got activated. I call him like a sleeper cell agent, sleeper cell Chrome boss agent. But
Right.
but like, why is it that, is it because you've been in the marketing world for a long time that you see people making all these mistakes? Because for me, I barely enter and I'm like, immediately, I'm like, oh, wow, you don't create a product. You have to sell something. And if they want it, then a bunch of people will buy. And then you spend that time creating the content for them. And then they get results because people buy results. They don't, you know, that's why they got in. So why is it that so you came up with your reverse pyramid strategy, and that's where we were when we got rudely when we got interrupted, and I didn't want to stop your flow because you were going so well, and I really, so that's where you were. So after that, after you started doing that and providing the webinars, now I want to know, what is it about you? What is it about you that had these people actually take action and deliver on what they did? Like, I don't hear a lot of people reference other people that says, oh yeah, like I started following him and I just learned so much. Like, what is it about you that made people take action versus just watching something and be like, okay, well, whatever, that's him and then I'm me and whatever, you know?
Well, I think the biggest reason why people feel like that, well, number one, I think I mean, in the internet, right, you have the guru culture. So everyone's trying to be the guru on the hill. You know, they all want to be inaccessible. They all want to be this kind of person that you can't talk to. You know, he's just on the hill, right, doing his deal. And then you got the other people that are not even gurus, but they don't make any money, right? So they're like, they're the bottom feeders, right? They're always asking you stuff for free. Or you have the people talking big but doing nothing, you know. I think my whole deal was that when I got started, I really had a lot of help from people. Like everyone was helping me and like whatever. And that is one of the main reasons why I could never really be the guru on the hill, because I always felt like I always remember the guys that helped me out and I always liked them. A lot of them are still friends to this day, and I still buy their stuff, right? For example, Russ, for example, I remember Russ buying some of my programs. I think he'll probably tell you the story much better. He was like his like I think the first dollar he ever made online was through a course of mine a few years ago, 3 years or so ago. Not even a course. Like I had an affiliate program in a course, and he went and promoted it, and he got paid like $200 or something back then, which was his first venture into the internet marketing course deals. But with him too, like I was never the guru on the hill. I was always like this friend that he could reach out to. But then on the other hand, I would always be assertive as hell. Like it's like a very weird, not a weird combination, but I think it's more of a combination that is required in the industry. You know, for example, like I'm a cool guy, I'm like a good friend, but I'll always ask you for what I need. So if I want you to buy something, I'm not hesitant to ask you to buy something, because I have like I'm not gonna ask you to buy bullshit. So if I have a good product, I'm going straight in. You know, I'm like, okay, buy this. You know, and I think people sort of tend to respect that because you have so much bullshit in the business and everyone's like really being a bullshitter, and then you have a guy that's like straight up coming to you and like, okay, well, you got to buy this, bro, like this is really going to help you, and then you buy it and it actually does. Like the same that happened to Russ. And then you respect the guy, and then you start promoting him everywhere, you start buying more products of his. And I think that's the way it's supposed to be. I think a biggest reason why most people never get anything, never get any connections, is because they never ask. They never ask. So they do their marketing efforts and they're like, oh, the customers are going to buy themselves. Everyone's going to buy themselves. And like, it just doesn't work out. For example, like another reason why I sort of built up the following that I built up was because I was actually giving them all the information. So I wasn't holding anything back. I was giving them everything. And I'm like, okay, well, here's everything, and now go make money with it. And which is one of the reasons why I shut down my higher ticket program too, because I felt like I was giving way too much info on the lower ticket product, that there was no need for a higher ticket program. So I was looking for more guest coaches to come in and deliver. Um, and yeah, people kind of loved that. I mean, they were like, okay, well, cool dude. Plus the memes always help. Everyone's laughing. They all keep promoting you. Um, and yeah, and obviously me asking them to buy stuff, because I have a very I have a theory that the moment someone stops buying from you, he's out of your ecosystem. He won't follow you anymore. So that's another key. You got to keep selling them more and more products. The more products you sell these people, the more they're in your ecosystem. The more they're in your sort of following list or whatever. The moment they stop buying anything from you, they'll start buying someone else's course, and and then the ecosystem just gonna move. It's not like the guy isn't gonna stay there. He's just gonna move to the other guy. Then he'll promote the other guy. That's really how it works. Um, another reason why is because I never necessarily wanted to just sell courses. I was more of building a movement, you know, like I think we were at a point in the business where there were way too many Shopify courses. You had Adrian Morrison selling a course, who I did a webinar with, by the way. You
Ernest
had
Epps, have you heard of him? Ernest Epps. He does e-commerce
Oh
too.
yeah, yeah. He's another good friend of mine and a meme follower. You, you had Kevin David. You have like at least, I would say at least 100 different Shopify guys. Like you have Gabriel. Yeah,
Oh
all these.
yeah. I
And
met Kevin David. He also teaches Facebook ads.
he does. He teaches a bunch of stuff. He teaches the SMMA stuff, whatever. But yeah, and like when you're in the niche like that, right? It's very hard to get trampled by the competition, because you have all these guys that have like a big YouTube channels and whatever. And I was never into that whole let's sell a course deal. I was more into helping the person. That's it. I didn't care if it was through a course or a coaching program or whatever. All I cared about was we took one guy, who wanted to start an e-commerce business, to getting an e-commerce store and to start making money. And that's the only focus of mine. And it's always been simple, and it's never been complicated for me. And that's one of the reasons why I never really used funnels aggressively. It's because it's such a complex operation, right? But for me, it was like we have person number A. I got to get him to this result. What do we do? And then I'm like, okay, you could do the webinar. And slowly it started to become somewhat of this movement where everyone was like, well, the big guys aren't teaching you anything, but H teaches you everything. So go to this guy. And I think that's one of the reasons why I had all the recommends and stuff, because a lot of people would buy stuff and they would make money with it. For example, the 2 Comma Club winner, the 4-time 2 Comma Club winner, Cody Neer, he ended up getting my webinars probably back in December. And he was like, I'll test the strategies out. The next day he tested it out and made like $400 in a day with it. So the information worked for him. And then he hit me with a testimonial. Now all his friends knew me. The next thing you know, Blake Nabar's promoting me in every group. He's like, okay, well, e-commerce, Ace Reddy or Cody Neer. And then it just grew because I was just into like helping people and like doing a lot of things for them, which by the way is another thing that I would do, is I would do a lot of stuff for them. So a lot of people, when they were in my course, right, they would message me asking for favors and help that weren't a part of the program, and I'd still do them because I'm like, okay, well, he needs help, so might as well get that going. And yeah, I mean, I guess they kind of love you after that, and then they just want to promote you everywhere. Another reason why they probably promoted me everywhere is because I specifically would make these posts and videos asking them to do it. And I would basically be like, guys, look, if you like a program, you should be promoting it. Like, what are you doing just liking the program? Yeah, so all of these really contributed to that. And then I had an anti-guru movement at one point, so that's another thing that helped. I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, it's true that like, you have all these comebacks, right? And then like people hate on the scumbags, but this that just strengthens their own army. And what I said was hating on people really doesn't help. Instead of that, just like promote the guys that are doing legit stuff. And now we could really and actually help people out. So yeah, that also helped. Yeah.
Wow. Like I try that too, and I believe I try to deliver a lot of value with my current community as well. But at some point, I'm just burnt out. I help a lot of people, and at some point, my messenger is like so flooded, and I'm just going, oh my gosh, this is too much. Uh, what what do you do to prevent that burnout for yourself, being someone who helps so many people?
Well, you sell stuff. That's a burnout, So yeah, I mean, you got all these messages right now. That's one of the reasons why I use the messenger pitch. It's like, if you guys want to get the program, message me this word and I'll hook you up. And then a lot of these people message you the word just because you're not replying to them. It's not something I do intentionally. It's just that my inbox is so full. I like, as soon as I wake up, if I look at it, I'm overwhelmed. Like, I feel the pain of like looking at the messages. You know what I mean? There's so many, and I'm like, okay, well, like, you guys send me this message, I'll look at it, and like a ton of people end up buying just because I don't open the messages. It's not something I do intentionally, but it happens. And the moment they buy, I think it's easier for them to just go through the course and understand stuff. So I don't get asked a lot of questions. When they do ask me the questions, they usually email it, so it's easier to get in touch with me via email. Um, but I mean, I think burnout really comes from you doing a lot but not getting anything in return. You not winning, basically, is what causes the burnout, right? So, like, and when you share a ton of content, I feel like you just got to sell more stuff. So you feel incentivized for sharing the content. And now you want to help more people, because the more people you help, the more you get paid and the more you want to keep doing it. So it's kind of like a reward system for your brain, where it's just like, the more you help people, if you make enough pitches, you're going to get paid for it. And then you keep doing it and you will never get burnt out. But then the moment, and this happened to me recently too, the moment you have a break, right? And you don't really sell stuff anymore, but you're just sharing value, that's when you'll get seriously burned out, because you're like, I'm sharing all this value, there's no one recommending me, there's no one doing anything. Like, what the heck? So I think burnout is more of you doing a lot of things but not really getting anything in return. Or it's not like, it's like you helping people but you not being rewarded for it is what probably causes the burnout.
Oh yeah. No, that totally makes sense. Um, Absolutely. That's awesome. That's a really good piece of golden nuggets.
Exactly.
Speaking of, I do to tell my audience, just a few things that um, some tactical advice. If you have any tactical tips, I know you could be like, watch my webinar, and I'm pretty sure after this, a lot of people will go like, I'm gonna go buy some of your webinars just because
Good.
I'm just
Once,
like, what is in it now after all your talk?
no discount.
Um, so is there like three golden nuggets or two golden nuggets you can give to my audience regarding how to convert like a Facebook post into someone who's buying? Is it like specific stuff, or is it more like mental, like, oh, you need to approach it mentally like this? Um, because I haven't watched your webinar, but I will after this.
Let's do
um,
that.
yeah.
Um, I think it's a combination of both, right? I mean, because for me, I think when I'm writing a Facebook post, I'm not writing it just to sell stuff. I'm writing it because I know it's going to help people out, you know? So for me, I think you have a very different level of conviction when you believe in your product, because you are free to push hard, because it's going to help people out. And I don't know what it is about the whole deal, but like, like, if I feel a course of mine is stupid, okay,
Yeah.
I write a post. I don't know why, but the market feels it too. Like, they just feel it. Like, for example, I once got this copywriter to write a webinar script for me. Okay, so like a huge webinar script. I remember calling him and I'm like, bro, like, the script needs to change. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, the script looks perfect. I'm like, yeah, but it's very inaccurate. Like, a lot of the techniques that you shared, if someone takes it and applies it in their business, it's not going to work. He's
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, but that's what they buy a course for. I'm like, no, I don't want to take the fucking, I don't want to teach this stuff if it doesn't work for people. like not even half of it. Like if I'm going to teach it, I'll teach it full, or I'm not going to do the whole half-ass shit. Sorry for the cursing, by the way.
No,
Uh,
I don't mind it. I curse myself, so it's fine.
it's perfect. So the guy's like, okay, shit, man, you're the only person who asked me to do this. Like everyone else is like, oh, the script looks awesome, let's just do it. And that's kind of disturbing, but the webinar didn't convert because I wasn't even convicted. Like I wasn't even convinced that the webinar is going to work. The information was weird. Even though we edited it out, it was just not the best information. And for that reason, we had zero sales, from the webinar script. And same with the post. It's like if you're not convinced that your product is the best, there's a lot of mental work that needs to go through, for you to be convinced. And once you are convinced, I feel like you have a lot more things to do, and you have a lot more fuel in you to actively promote it. Like you don't feel guilty about promoting it aggressively because it's going to help someone. So it's more of like, for example, like let's say you're in a place where, let's say you have a friend who has cancer and you have the cure. It's not like you're not going to be like, okay, well, he's going to buy it from me, I'm not going to sell it to him. You're just like, what if this guy was your best friend? you know
Yeah.
you want to aggressively sell it to him, and even if he doesn't take it, you want to steal money from his pocket, put the cure in it, because you want to fix it, right? By the way, guys, disclaimer, I'm not asking you to steal money. That is just an example.
Yeah.
But you have no guilt pushing it to that level because you know that you have the cure. Now, with digital products, of course, not everyone really has the perfect idea. Like, I don't think anyone actually has the perfect course, but a lot of things need to change. And as far as nuggets go, I'll give you one great nugget, which I think is going to really help your market out, is to not focus on the people that don't do action and start focusing on the people that actually do work. So this is a major problem I had, especially with info products, because I would have all these people buying stuff, and we would have some complainers here and there that keep complaining about stuff, right? And it's very easy to get caught up in the loop of, oh, my product's bad because it didn't work for him. But I think that's a very weird way to look at it, right? Because it didn't work for him because he didn't want it to work for him. He was looking for reasons to not make it work, either so he could get a refund, or he's so comfortable being in the position that he is that he doesn't want to upgrade, or he sees it as a get rich quick scheme. That's his problem. But I feel like a lot of info marketers have this massive drag. Like someone says anything negative, they sulk. They don't want to promote the product anymore, which is a natural feeling. But I think the best thing to do, honestly, is to look at the people that are succeeding and to go find more of these people. So you're not going to be selling 100, like you're not going to be selling your course to 100 people to help 100 people. You're selling your course to 100 people so you could help the 20 people that really want help, and it's a numbers game after that. So you're just looking for those 20 people. And if you have to sell to 100 people and let's say 20 of them hate it, that's their problem. Just give them a refund and just go to get over with it. But the 20 people that do get results, these guys are going to give you solid testimonials. And you just got to get more content out there and get more sales out there, just so you can reach more and more of these 20 people that actually get results and do anything with it. So your focus should be like, get the people that are going to watch the content and get results with it. And if you have to get like 1,000 clients to get 2 people to do it, you got to do it you know as long as the information works, by the way. Like if you've never used the information and you're teaching it, that's another deal all on itself. But if the information works, you've used it, it works, then your whole job is to focus on the people that are going to get results from it.
So with your movement, who are you speaking to? Are you speaking to the newbies? Are you speaking to people who have some offers and doing it wrong? Are you like, who is your target market with your movement, target people?
I think that depends. With the webinar deal, it's more of people with info products that aren't selling it well. So I wouldn't say it's a newbie thing, because if you're launching a course, like I think that you need to have at least some expertise in something, like before you actually launch a course. So with the ultimate social selling webinar, it is the more of an intermediate crowd that's like that kind of knows how the game works. They just have a lot of wrong information. With the e-commerce stuff, it was more of the newbie crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I ever did any webinars on how to scale to $1 million or so. So it was more about like, okay, how do you get to your first 10,000, your first 100,000? It is a pure newbies crowd. Because I feel like the newbies crowd is the easiest to sell to. I mean, it's just like it's just the easiest to sell to because the audience is big and you have a lot of prospects. So I've run these have exclusive masterminds. Like I remember at one point I used to have a mastermind. We were selling it at $7,500 to $10,000. The price kept going. That's another method I've been using for years. Is I'll set a price like for my webinar it used to be 97, then it goes to 197, then it goes to 297 just to see how much people are willing to pay for it, and that's where I lock it down. So we had 40 people in the mastermind, and all 40 of them were like experts. Like we had a guy that had $1 million businesses on the side, one guy that was running the SEO for $1 billion corporations. So I've done both. I think that really depends on the product itself. So it's very hard for you to like um, I think well, I always launch products that would help people. That's exactly why I never really calculated that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I was never like, okay, well, let's go after the newbies crowd. I was just like, okay, there's a problem here and we got to fix that. So let's launch a product to fix that. Same with the social selling webinar. So that's how I've always looked at it. But I yeah, but the majority of it definitely went to the newbies crowd because I mean they were just easier to help, you know, and like they'd get so happy once they build up a store or get their first sale or whatever. It's just so cool, and you end up getting a ton of testimonials and stuff. There's the two systems. I think a friend of mine called Travis. He runs these big groups, $30,000 groups, and he only helps like the expert guys. I remember getting on a call with him, and he was like, "Yeah, you got to start handling these people, man, like the experts and stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll look into it." You know, I mean,
Travis.
yeah, Travis Sago, he's a pretty big dude. He runs an offer called $1 Million Mojo. So this is funny, right? This is how powerful Facebook is. So I was in Travis's group. He posted a ton of value in there. So what I did was I basically wrote a post on my Facebook that said, Travis is a cool dude. Like this group is amazing. Go join it. I had like 100 people join the group, like just with one link in 24 hours. And within the 24 hours, Travis ended up getting a $30,000 deal just from my audience. And that's how powerful Facebook can be if you use it right. So, but
Absolutely.
I have the perfect answer for your question now. So I think I have the perfect answer for your question now. Okay, so here's how I worked, right? And I did it quite unconsciously now thinking of it. Is if, for example, right, you went from zero to $100 a day and you want to launch a course on how to go from zero to $100 a day. Now your next job is to figure out who is going to be most interested in going to $100 per day. A guy that's making $1 million is definitely not interested. In my case, the guys that had stores making 100 grand, they were not interested to go to 100 grand a month. They were already doing 100 grand a month. So when we launched the whole, you could make 50 to 100K a month, like us doing e-commerce. The only guys that got in were the guys that weren't making it. So they were probably like doing $1,000 here, $1,000 there. And then you also had a complete newbie audience, who wanted to build a store and build it up there. So we were helping both of them because the store, we took it up from scratch. So we knew how to do it and we were teaching other people how to do it. That's really it. I don't know. That is a good question, Kim. That is a great question because now I'm starting to analyze myself here. What was I going after the newbies crowd? Like, why? Then I was like, okay, well, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And when you say for the people who, because part of my audience is the affiliate marketing crowd, but now I'm more focused on the software crowd as well, because I'm getting all these, results from people who went through my course for software. I'm thinking for them, like, their number one problem is getting more subscribers. Their number one problem is trying to get in front of more eyes, trying to get in front of more people. And what they're selling is time, right? They're selling saving time. That's what they're selling in the form of email addresses and passwords. For that crowd, what would be a good way, a good perspective to look on getting more subscribers through like Facebook posts, do you think?
Well, why are they looking to get subscribers? That's a real question. Are they looking for,
Why are they looking for more subscribers?
yeah. Are they looking for to get famous? Are they looking to sell products? Like what is their
A
final
lot of them
destination?
are looking to pay bills. Yeah, a lot of them are looking just to have a few thousand a month to cover mortgage and bills.
Gotcha. So would you say that $10,000 a month? Could you teach them how to get to $5,000 a month with their Instagram accounts? Could you show them how to build the Instagram profile up, get the followers, and get it to $5,000 a month?
No, not Instagram.
All right, Facebook.
Facebook, yeah.
There you go. Here's how you turn your Facebook profile into a cash machine and get to $5,000 a month. That's out the top of my head, but for a person watching that, because I think, like, again, like I got on a call with this dude yesterday. He was like, "Oh, I'm doing this course on a funnel building thing. Like, I want to show people how to build funnels." I'm like, "Well, what's the difference between you and Russell Brunson?" And he's like, "Well, we teach them how to build good-looking funnels, beautiful funnels." I'm like, "What's the purpose of that?" And he's like, "I don't know. They're just good-looking." I'm like, "No, they need to have a purpose, bro. Why would you build good-looking funnels? Because you want to look more affluent. You want to look more of like an expert. You want to look like a professional, and you want to be able to command higher prices. You want to be like a luxury person. So these are the real benefits, right? So in this case, if you could show people how to use their Facebook profile to get to $5,000 a month, that's it. Like that's the whole tagline: how to turn your Facebook profile into a cash machine. you know sounds very get rich quick, but that's just top of my head. I think that's what my webinar was about. My webinar was like, okay, well, I'll show you guys how to sell a lot of stuff through Facebook. um, yeah
All right. That sounds
yeah
good. Because, yeah, a lot of the customers are on Facebook. A lot of my student software are centered around Facebook. A lot of Facebook CRM, Messenger CRM, or just
Mhm.
adding friends, deleting friends in bulk. A lot of them are like that. So, hmm.
You
Eh,
guys have great softwares too. I've been using the group convert. It's amazing. It's a great software. I've been pushing the leads everywhere. I'm like, dude, like, this friend of mine called Allison. She's like, oh, you gotta start building an email list, bro. Like, you can really scale it up. I'm like, done. Let me get the software. I got a great software, guys. You should get it. She'll probably put a link somewhere. Great software. I've been using your software and Zeki's software too. Both the softwares are great.
oh, yeah. And there's also, if you use Facebook a lot, there's also software by Robert McCorkle. It's called the Social Blade, and it lets you bulk add and bulk delete friends based on one post with who is engaged. So you could
Mhm.
like bulk delete unengaged friends and then bulk add friends who only like or comment for a post that's connected to the community that would be your people.
I should try
So
it.
it's very
Um,
specific, but it's like really highly engaged people that you're going to be adding.
Yeah, I should try it. Earlier on, my strategy for getting rid of people used to be to post something mega controversial, so people just like that don't relate with it just leave. But now they don't do it anymore. I think they love me so much they're like willing to deal with the controversial to still see my post. It's weird, and I'm like, okay, well, I wrote a post the other day on some controversial shit, and then all of a sudden, I had one guy delete me. Like if I did that a few years ago, I'd probably have like 100 people deleting me. And I'm like, dude, these guys love me too much. Now I gotta find a way to,
Polarize
balance.
them some
Yeah.
more. Um, all right. I feel like I've just been asking you questions off the top of my head, but one question that I believe would serve my audience maybe is what would you do differently if you had to start all over again? And this is more a question for those who are starting off, who want to be able to have income trying to make it. A lot of people are in those shoes, and I want to ask that question for them.
Okay, so the answer for this is going to be a bit off the topic because it's not about social selling as much. But if I were to start back again, the number one thing I do is I put a graph on everything. Like I statistically measure all the sales coming in, where they're coming in from, and what the heck is going on. Because one thing I've realized, especially with the whole social selling and the internet marketing division in general, is that you got to know when you're dying. At a certain point, your audience is exhausted and they don't buy as much stuff from you anymore. So at this point, you just got to keep coming out with more products, right? Or you come out with a new traffic source. I feel like it took me a long time to get to that bridge where I was selling a bunch of stuff and then the audience kept dying. I just didn't realize it kept dying because I'm like, okay, well, they're still buying, so I'm still making all this money and I'm like still cool, but the audience kept going down. So it went from here and here and here and here. And I feel like if I put everything on a graph, right, and I saw some decline happening that kept happening towards them, I would have been able to fix the problem before it hit a stall, at which point I had to rebuild it. So that is something I would definitely do, where you have all this momentum going up. If there's a decline happening, you got to be able to fix it quick. Had I done that earlier, I would have gotten my YouTube account set up way earlier. Like probably back in January, I'd be doing my YouTube stuff and like just getting more and more traffic sources into play. I really realized what the heck is going on with my Facebook when I got locked out of it because I got locked out of Facebook for like 2 days. I don't know what. I posted a meme, something maybe. Just kicked me out. They're like, you can't post anything. You can't even log into the account. Get out. And I had to get a new Facebook account, bunch of shit. And that's when I was like, okay, well, how am I going to sell shit now? And then I'm like, okay, I got to rebuild this profile. But why was I only reliant on one traffic source? That's when I went in and built up my email list a little. And now I'm building my YouTube channel. So that's what I would do, guys. Honestly, it doesn't matter what traffic source you use, Facebook, email list, whatever. Just try to graph everything down, right? So like just like how much money do you make this week, and that's how I do it. How much money do you make this week? How many sales did you get this week? Another thing I do is I measure the amount of followers I have everywhere. So on Facebook. On YouTube, everything. I put a full measure on it, and I'm just trying to accurately look at everything, like at least once a week for 30 minutes or so. And I'm like, okay, where is this thing going? If it's going down, I know exactly what to do because I know that the popularity is going down. So now I have to get some more traffic sources going. If the sales are going down, but the popularity is going up, it just means I need more products. And there's all of these things that you could do that are going to really help you. So tracking stuff is, I think, the most important deal. Another major problem mistake that I made, honestly, was I would because some of these products of mine, they would have hundreds of customers, and I always felt like I was killing it with those, but I was actually killing it with the more higher ticket products. And some of these products I had no back end offer. So I was bringing in 80 people. Like I ran a challenge, it was called a 21-day ecom challenge. So we ran about 70 or so people to the challenge. The promotional period was 25 days. So I promoted it for 25 days on Facebook, put like 70 people into it on the first round. The upsell wasn't there at all. Like they got the upsell on the 21st day because we had no back end deals. We weren't really promoting anything. And then like when you statistically start looking at everything, right? Everything starts to make a lot of sense because then you start actually looking at data. But another thing that happened to me is when I launched the first webinar series, I had 3 webinars, and as crazy as it sounds, I pitched on all 3. So the first webinar was how to get started, second was on how to find products, and third one was how to use Facebook ads. And all 3 of them had a pitch at the end. 30 minutes, 45-minute pitch at the end. And everyone at this point was probably thinking that everyone's going to hate me, but I had 200 people or 220 people buy the webinar set. No, I had like 500 people or so buy it. Or people bought 500 webinars, 220 people bought like 500 or 600 webinars or something like that. And only about 8 people claimed a refund. So in actuality, they didn't really hate it as much. But I made more money. But the second time I did no back end selling, I didn't make as much money, and the refund rate was still the same.
Mm.
So
So you would
like,
build out your back end more, your structure more, if you were doing
yeah. And you will really not know any of that until you actually start looking at everything. So, okay, so everyone's like, oh, my product sucks, but how many people actually watched it? You know? So, oh, well, I watched it. I don't like the product, whatever. Well, dude, like, did you show it to 10 people? Did they like the product? Did they make any money with it? Yeah, one guy made money with it. That's a 10% success rate, you know? So now we have a number to go based off. And that's what I would do, guys. Right from the start, I would take everything on a number database and I would track everything. Because I think if I did that the right way, I'd probably be a two comma club winner right now. That's one thing that technically stopped me, because I feel like we get lazy too often. Like as entrepreneurs, it's like everything's going good, and then all of a sudden we're lazy, and then shit starts to drop. And in my case, the sales dropped pretty exponentially at one point because I wasn't doing any pitching. I wasn't pitching at all. I was just being this whatever guy. Like I wasn't working at all, zero work for like I think 2 months. I didn't even work, and I was just chilling. I had other people doing the work for me. I was just chilling. But yeah, that's what I would do, guys. Track everything, build out a strong core backend offer right from the start. If you don't have a backend, what I would do is I would create one backend offer and I would lead all of your front end offers to that. So there's a sort of an octopus effect where you have one product that all these other products are leading to.
it.
And yeah, the majority of your money is going to come from the back end. It's not going to come from the front end. The front end is going to make you some money, but the majority is going to definitely come in from the back end. So be prepared for that. Yeah.
That is
So that's,
gold. I feel I know this the interview usually it's an hour, so we're a little bit over. And I feel like you have such an energy to you that if you talk, I just don't want to interrupt. I just want to keep on hearing. It's really
yeah.
cool. And I'm definitely gonna go check out your webinar on whatever Zeki saw, because for my own audience, they're traveling in the same, a lot of them are in the same journey as Zeki. So I'm really excited to see where he's going forward with it. And the back end stuff that he showed my Chromebox community on the contests and then the pre-launch and, the upsell to the downsell, all of that, maybe it's very common for marketers, but for people who, I think they're very green when they come into my community. They're more like they don't do that many funnels. They don't really know what a funnel is, and then they come in, and then there's this whole world that opens up. One of my clients, she's like a pharmacist, so she's like, I don't even know a funnel, but now that I see what's possible with having my own little software, I can solve real problems for real people and have that be like a global thing. So that like switched her mind to thinking like I'm just a person in the world, being a pharmacist, helping people with pills, to, oh my gosh, I can change the world. So
Yeah, now she feels like a savior. She's like, she's
yeah.
motivated and stuff. Yeah, um, definitely.
Yeah.
But
So, all right. So, last words. What are the next steps for you, for anyone watching? What is up for you in the future? I really want to hear. I know that you're going to do YouTube more. What are your plans for this upcoming year?
all right. Oh, number one, guys, I'm gonna take over YouTube. So if you want to watch me take over it, go to YouTube. Go join the Facebook group, the Ultimate Dropshipping Community. That's something I got together now. So I'm gonna take over YouTube, and you guys could watch how I do it. And then obviously after I take over YouTube, I'll do a webinar showing you guys how I did it. Um, so that's number one. Number two is the masterminds. So we're coming out with more and more masterminds. We're coming out with more and more expensive programs. So $10,000 programs, $15,000 programs. That's next on my list, because I feel like because I was running the stats yesterday too. I feel like my backend's completely messed up. Like I'm a really good closer on the front. I can put hundreds of people on a program, but my backend was kind of messed up. So that's something we're fixing now. Um, just a lot of nerdy stuff, guys. Really, like I want to get in the software business too, honestly. So I'm trying to partner up with someone that has a software, and I'm like, dude, I'll do the selling for you. Just take care of the nerdy shit because I can't code. Um, yeah.
Partner up as in like JV, because I have a ton of people with awesome software that are looking for JV partners to partner up with.
Yeah, I could sell it for them. I could fund their advertising. I could do a bunch of stuff. I just want to be in the software business, and I wanted to sell a software that actually works. Number one, that actually has the scale, so to go big. And that's really what I want to do. This guy called John, he keeps sending me all these offers. He's like, "There, dude, there's this new software. You can acquire it for just 150 grand." I'm like, dude, like the software just looks weird, you know.
Yeah, well, here's my advice to you, because I have been in this world for a year and I've seen a lot of stories and I've experienced a lot. Um, you can flip software for like 10x or 3 to 10x what it's making a year, but you can also go and do what I call the Chrome bus arbitrage, where you see existing software and you make your own version and you look at the reviews of what people are saying bad about that current version which has like hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Just make your own, make it work. Look at the reviews, make sure that you adjust it. And so your version is going to be like a rock star version compared to those, and you don't have to pay hundreds of thousands just for one software that you can make for like a few $1,000s, and then turn it around. And with your marketing skill, you can easily like own 100% equity and have your own JV partners, but you could easily just sell your own software.
Because I
Yeah.
remember messaging you before I got onto Group Convert. There was another software in the same domain. And I was like, what do you think of this software? What's the difference? And you were like, these are all the things the other software doesn't have that we have. I'm like, shit, they're prepared. Like, they know exactly what the heck is going on. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll buy it. I remember that. That was quite amazing, by the way. That's probably what closed me because I was trying to get the other software. And then I'm like, okay, what does this software have that this other one doesn't have? I don't know if you remember it. It was a few
I
days
do
ago.
remember. I've had many of those conversations with people. They always say that. Like, what do you have that, do you have anything they don't have? And I'm like, yeah, of course. I actually listen to the people and we have full-time customer support and, there's all these things.
10 seconds to give me that reply. And I'm like, like they know exactly how the software works. And that was quite interesting because, like most people have no clue. They're like, oh, well, you could buy either that or you could buy this. And what you guys did, that is quite impressive, I gotta say. It's amazing. So
Thank
how
you.
long do you want to? Like, is this an hour and a half? How
Yeah,
long is it?
no, we're good. It's 8 minutes over time. Oh, yeah, no, it's even more than that because we started a little bit early. So thank you so much, Ace. This has been an awesome conversation. I love it when I can have those moments where you're like, hey, that was a good question. It makes me think about myself. It makes me evaluate what's going on. Like, I love those moments because then the conversation isn't just shallow, top of the thing conversation. It goes a little bit deeper, and that's what I really enjoy. But all right, cool. What?
I love being on the show because I'm kind of an introvert and I felt like I was being opened up here and it's quite fun to do it. I love being on the show. Thanks for having me.
No problem. And yeah, you're gonna take over YouTube because you have this very soothing kind of way of explaining things, and it's very clear in the way that you talk. So I think you're gonna have a grand old time. And I'll send my people to whatever link that you provide for your YouTube following.
All right, awesome, dude. Well, guess it's time to end the mini webinar. I think this is kind of like a webinar. It wasn't even like an interview. There was so much information here.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. Thank you so much, Ace. I'm gonna click end, and I guess that's all. I'll see you around, and also I'm probably gonna ask you for like 1 or 2 people who would be interested in me, having a conversation with them to my audience. But I feel like these conversations will help a lot of people, and if only to open their eyes on like the reality versus the lies, you know?
Right.
So,
Yeah, I have a ton of people like that. So,
all right, cool. All right, Ace, have a great,
awesome.
wonderful day. All
Yeah.
right, bye.